Hi everyone, I'm your host Ferdler, and welcome to the Lost and Not Found podcast, a beacon of hope for those feeling adrift in the sea of life. Our mission is to uplift, inspire, and remind you that tough times are just temporary. Join us as we navigate through these storms together, finding direction and purpose in the chaos. And remember, you may be lost, but you're not alone. Disclaimer. So we'll start with our disclaimer. So please note that the content shared in the Lost and Not Found podcast is based solely on my personal opinions and experiences. I'm not a certified professional or expert in the topics discussed. The podcast is intended to share my personal insights and should not be considered professional advice. If you require expert assistance or advice, I strongly recommend seeking help from a qualified professional in the relevant field. Thank you for tuning in, and remember, this is a journey we're on together. So, welcome back, everybody. Today is episode 3, and the topic is navigating burnout. So, let's start off on why I chose this topic. Well, I didn't really choose it. It was more the community because I was asking around for topics, and I think a lot of comments mentioned they want to hear about burnout, especially when it comes to school and homework. How to keep going? Things can get quite tedious. I understand that type of lifestyle, and homework's always not that fun at times. But it was suggested in my community, so I decided I could just come online and talk about it today. So that's why I brought up this topic. But also, burnout is a topic that resonates with many of us, I think, especially myself. And in our fast-paced lives, the pressure to excel, meet deadlines, and balance personal and professional responsibilities, they can all lead to burnout. And this is all prevalent within all of our lives for sure. So it's definitely a good topic to discuss. Then, what's next? Sorry. So, I also deal with burnout. So personally, I've dealt with burnout with this channel and a lot of different things within the different careers I've tried and everything. So I'm no stranger to this as well. So I was like, this is something that I can share and something the community wants to know more about. And so we'll deep dive into this right now. So I think we should first start off with defining burnout. Burnout is a state. So first, the definition of burnout. Burnout is a state of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion resulting from prolonged stress, often related to work or other responsibilities. That is, there's a lot of things that come with burnout, but that's kind of like the base definition I found. So burnout can lead to decrease in productivity, strained relationships, and even health issues. So all these are negatives. So how can we get through it? It's a question which we'll deep dive into today. So I think there's a stigma relating to burnout. I think some perceive burnout as a sign of weakness or lack of resilience, which I can understand. I think these are misconceptions. At the end of the day, burnout is really just a common human experience. Everyone can experience burnout. It is quite prevalent, unfortunately. And it's to say, hey, this is not something out of the ordinary. A lot of people feel burnout, and it happens quite a bit. Which leads into this next segment. So recognizing burnout signs. So I'd say physical signs. So you can have fatigue, headaches, disruptive sleep patterns, frequent illness due to weakened immune system because you're all under all this stress, too much stress that it's like physically starting to make you ill. It's become too much. Emotional signs. It could be irritability, mood swings, anxiety or depression, feeling detached or cynical. It can mess with your mood as well. Behavioral signs. Decreased productivity, withdrawal from social activities, neglecting self-care or hobbies. Like you just kind of don't want to do anything really because you're so out of energy. Importance of acknowledging burnout. So they say, hey, it's not, it shouldn't be seen as a sign of weakness. It's something that say, hey, I'm feeling this, and let's start tackling it. So there can be interventions put into place, which I think is very important for sure. Next is embracing burnout. So resilience, starting off with resilience. You need resilience, which is to bounce back from adversity, because I think why people get burnout is because it could be because maybe the road is long, the road is difficult, It's not always fun, and there's a lot of bumps along the way for sure. So which can lead to, you get tired, you don't want to do it, but you have to keep going. You have to be resilient whenever encountering adversity, because no one likes adversity. At the end of the day, no one likes it, but it's part of the journey. So resiliency is one. Next is a growth mindset. I think having in mind what you're doing the work for can help encourage you along your way. I think that definitely can be something that can keep you going, because if you view burnout as an opportunity to grow and learn, then you can continue. You can become more resilient. You're more motivated. You don't just give out, say, oh, what is this all for? It's kind of pointless. It's kind of useless. You need to say that I'm building up towards something. So having goals in mind is very important, and always having this growth mindset, saying, I'm not going to get to where I want to be right away. It takes time, and it will take this long journey. So I need to refocus my vision, say, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use it to better myself? And how can I use it to get to where I want to be? Next is self-compassion. I think being kind to yourself, avoiding self-blame. It's fine to have mistakes. It's fine that some things go wrong at times. That's just part of the process. And you don't want to be too hard on yourself. You want to be like, okay, this is just part of it. Let's just get up, try it again. This is fine. Not so much just to always blame yourself, saying, what's wrong with me? I can't get it right, yada, yada, yada. You want to avoid that and be more understanding of your situation, saying this is just part of it. And that understand that everyone else too is facing burnout at some point. So it's not an irregular experience for sure. And then finding purpose. This can also go with goal setting. But I think you need to reconnect with your passion for learning and find purpose in it. So it's like, if you don't have any goals, if you don't have any purpose to why you're doing it, you'll burn out faster, because you'll just be like, I'm just dredging away. There's no point to the work I'm doing right now. So because you deem it to be pointless, you're not going to want to work, and the weight's going to feel heavier. You need to be like, okay, you need to give yourself some purpose for it. You need to give yourself some goals, something to look forward to. Because if not, then you're going to be like, this is just a waste of time. And every time you do it, it's going to be like, oh, this is work. This is terrible. I hate it. So you have to find a purpose to why you're doing what you're doing. And then we'll segue into the next section. I'm actually going pretty fast right now. Sorry. I'm almost done. The next section is, this was the topic that was most stressed in my chat, saying how to do homework and school without feeling burnt out. And I think this is quite prevalent. I think it's a good thing to touch base on. So I'll talk a lot about this area. And I'll also share my experiences too. But I think first is we want to start off understanding the challenge. You want to acknowledge that homework, especially when piled up, can lead to burnout. I think the number one thing that would lead me to burning out with homework is when I let it just pile up. Like, let's say they give you a month in advance to do an assignment, right? What that meant in my mind, if I have a month in advance, that means I have a month to chill. And then the day before it's due is when I work. But that is terrible. You don't want to do that. It's going to lead to a lot of stress, everything. You're setting yourself up to fail. You want to spread out your work. You want to spread it out into segments, and you want to tackle it little bit by little bit. And it's okay. At times, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. At times, too, I understand some people are giving, how school is nowadays. Like, it's competitive. Some people are giving so much work. I totally understand this. And it's okay to feel overwhelmed. But just try and figure out strategies early before we're getting into the further semester or whatever stage you're in for education. Whatever state, even if you're working right now, is like you want to segment your work and strategize early in how you want to organize things, and don't push it off to later. Because if you push it off to later, you'll get overwhelmed on top of you having to re-strategize everything. And it'll lead to, you will definitely burn out and get overwhelmed. So you want to make these strategies early, because if you work harder at the beginning, it'll be easier in the end. Believe me. Because I always push off everything to the end. and it makes everything way harder. Next comes to effective time management. So this kind of goes into, segmenting, but you want to break your task into smaller chunks, as I stated earlier, and create realistic goals for each section. So there's a technique I believe called the Pomodoro method. Once again, there's a bunch of different methods out there, but the Pomodoro method is short, focused bursts with breaks to maintain focus. So you get really good short, like 10, 20, 30 minutes study session, then you take a break, maybe 10, 20, 30 minutes. So you focus, break, focus, break. So you can really maximize that power. Or, some people, maybe they like studying long spurts of time and then taking long breaks. That's absolutely okay too. Whatever works for you, it's just finding a system and maximizing your time. Saying, hey, I got a test coming up next week. Let's say it's on 5 chapters. Let's do a chapter each day of the week, Monday through Friday. And then maybe Saturday doing an entire brief down, and then Sunday doing another quick overview, and then you're being ready for Monday when the test is. That could definitely be something. And then you interweave breaks within those times as well. And times to re-energize, because you don't just want to cram everything at once. I don't think you can retain. There's things like, I don't think after X amount of hours or something, you can't, the information's not even being retained. So you want to make the most of your time and make sure it's maximized and very efficient. So next, I'd say create a supportive environment. Having support groups and stuff is very, I think, beneficial. Whether it be, well, it's like you want family, friends, study groups. Having support there, and also having a quiet, organized space for you to study. So having a study area is very helpful, because just being out sometimes, too much noise, or if you like the noise, whatever it is, get a space that fits what you need so you can just lock in, essentially. And then also having a support system, having friends to study with or family to encourage your study with as well. Now, myself, I don't really like study groups, but for some people it works. Some people it works for sure. Me personally, not a huge fan, because I get distracted, because study groups become just like playtime for me, essentially, right? But like, maybe if you all study individually, and then one of the days you're like, hey, let's just do a study group just to talk to each other, go over things real quick, and just review together. That's absolutely fine as well. I would definitely encourage that. And maybe a family member, if you want help from them or whatever, that's always great. And then self-care and rest. So you want to prioritize sleep. I know this is not emphasized when it comes to education. A lot of people do the opposite. They get lack of sleep. They get zero sleep, which is not good. That won't just lead to burnout. That will lead to like a lot of health issues too. And it's really unhealthy. But I understand that sometimes you got to pull those all-nighters and stuff, especially when it's college and stuff. But you want to time manage as best as you can so you don't have to get to that point. But I do understand when it happens. But if you do have to get those, all-night sessions or whatever it may be, because you're med school or whatever, or law school, make sure you're still getting proper nutrition, taking naps maybe occasionally, and then after the test you want to re-energize. Make sure you re-energize. And yeah, definitely taking short breaks and stuff to recharge. It is vital. And then I'm gonna emphasize this a lot. Next point is you need hobbies, and you need things to re-energize. This is very important. This will lead so you don't get burnt out. Having outlets. You need outlets to re-energize, because if you only focus on work, you will always be your energy will always be depleted. If that's all you do, just work, you would be depleted entirely. Even with the homework and stuff, you cannot do like 8 hours, 12 hours of homework at one sitting. It's not, it will drain you. You will not sustain. Like, imagine doing all-nighters every week or every day. You will not sustain. And that's all you do. You need to have, whether it's hanging out with friends, playing video games, watching TV, going for a walk, going out to the park, playing some sports. Whatever it is, find those outlets for you to re-energize. Because if you're working really hard, that's great. But if you're never re-energizing, you'll always be lacking. And then you're 100%, I guarantee you 100% burnout. It'd just be a matter of time. If you have no outlet, nothing. So that's very, very, very important to have hobbies and things to re-energize you. And then lastly, seek help when needed. Honestly, like, if you're really struggling, especially with homework and school and stuff, you're like, man, I really just don't like this. I'm not doing well. I'm just not getting it. I just seem so overwhelmed and stuff. Consider talking to your teachers or classmates for help and stuff. It's never bad to ask for help. Whenever I needed help, I always asked for it in school, and people are willing to help you. At least from my experiences, people are willing to help for sure. And like, ask the teachers, and you can get tutors, counselors. There's a lot of resources out there for you to take advantage of. So just ask. Do not be embarrassed. Do not think, oh, what if people look at me? It doesn't matter. Believe me. It won't phase you as much if you ask for help early and you get the help you need, and then you get back on track, instead of not saying anything, getting burnt out, and then you failing all your classes and not doing your homework. That would destructive behavior. You do not want that. Don't let it get to that. Ask for help, whether teacher, classmates, get tutoring or counseling. Ask someone for help because people are willing to help. And then, I don't think there's anyone here right now, but I was going to say time for questions or comments. This was a short one. This is not that long, but I went through that fast, but I think it was good. I think I went through a good just a brief talk about burnout. Nothing too crazy. Once again, I don't think there's any questions. If anyone has any questions or anything, you can feel free to ask, but if anyone's even in here, but if not, that's fine. We'll just move on to the conclusion. And let me because I finished that so early. Let me think if I have any extra thoughts. Burnout. Once again, burnout is normal. It's okay to feel burned out. It's not like a foreign concept. It's nothing. It's like, oh, I'm the only one feeling burnt out. Everyone's getting ahead of me. I need to keep working. And then you feel bad. You're like, I can't keep going. I'm out of energy, blah, blah. You don't want to cycle into that. Just be like, it's normal. Okay, so I hope I shared some tips to help combat burnout, as in like getting effective time management, support groups, getting outlets, all these different things to help you face these issues. I think is important, and I think it's definitely helpful, not just with homework and school, but I think in others areas in your life, with like work, with other things that may be, but I know the topic at hand, people really want to focus on how can I not be burnt out on homework at school, because it gets tiresome. And believe me, I was not a huge fan of school or homework, so I totally understand. But I think the best things is find what works for you, because everyone's different, but then just start segmenting things, have better time efficiency, have outlets. You don't just need to study all day. It's not going to do anything if you study 24 hours a day. It's nothing. You're going to get burnt out like that. Take your time and tackle problems like that. But yeah, I think that's all my closing thoughts for now. But then we'll go to the conclusion then. It's pretty short. We keep it pretty short. So in conclusion, burnout is a pervasive issue affecting many aspects of our lives, even in the realm of school and homework. It's essential to acknowledge and understand the signs of burnout, whether they manifest physically, emotionally, or behaviorally. By recognizing burnout early, we can intervene and implement strategies to mitigate its effects. Embracing burnout involves cultivating resilience, adopting a growth mindset, practicing self-compassion, and reconnecting with our sense of purpose. When it comes to managing homework without succumbing to burnout, effective time management, creating a support environment, prioritizing self-care and rest, and incorporating mindfulness techniques are crucial. As we wrap up this episode, I urge you to remember the key takeaways. Recognize burnout. seek support, and practice resilience. I want to express my gratitude to all our listeners for joining this important conversation. Your experience and feedback are invaluable. Stay tuned for future episodes where we'll delve into more topics relevant to our community. Remember, you're not alone in facing burnout, and together we can navigate through it. Thank you for listening, and until next time, take care. See y'all. Thanks for listening to the Lost and Not Found podcast. Have a good one.